I slowly blinked my eyes open and found myself in a dark and cold place, lying on the ground, a pitch-black sky above me. No moon, not even a single star. I could hear no sound either, save for the sighing of the wind and my own breathing. I looked around and noticed what looked like scattered lit torches some distance away, their wavering lights only serving to make the place look gloomier. Creepier. I then decided to examine myself instead and realized that I was wearing some kind of bodysuit and a black armor. It wasn't very comfortable. On my belt hanged a black scabbard, a golden hilt protruding from its end. I was also barefoot, surprisingly enough. I got up carefully, hoping to examine my surroundings further. I still couldn't see much, but I felt cold dirt against the naked soles of my feet. I was still slightly dazed, but my gut told me that something bad was about to happen, so I pushed myself to move anyway. I chose a random direction and started stepping forward. I felt oddly heavy. The simple act of walking seemed like swimming through quicksand. I walked and walked. The time passed so slowly that I felt like I've walked for miles, and yet the scenery never changed. Even the light of the torches never quite moved closer. This place seemed unending. I felt panic growing inside me, the dark haze strangling me. And then there was a howl. I froze. Goosebumps crept all over my skin. My heart drummed in my chest. True fear enveloped my whole being. A wolf. Maybe a lion or any large animal hunting for food. Either way, crap. I urged myself to keep moving. As I attempted to take another step, the howls got louder and louder, nearer and nearer, until out of nowhere, the answer to my question materialized before me, no more than 20 feet away. It wasn't a wolf, nor a lion. It was a cat. But a huge, monstrous one. A monstrous black cat with a glistening fur and a pair of glowing red eyes, glaring straight at me. It had long, silvery claws so deadly looking, I could already feel it tearing through my skin. Then it drew its mouth back in a snarl, displaying rows of gleaming sharp fangs, ready to rip and devour my flesh and blood. My fear doubled. It felt like my heart wanted to jump out from my ribcage. I almost keeled over, I was shivering so violently. Wait, did I see the thing smirk at me? Probably just my imagination. The gloom wasn't exactly helping me see properly. The monster growled at me with hunger in its fiery eyes. Then it began prowling closer. I tried to calm my breathing, steady myself, so I could think of something smart to do. It growled again and progressed faster, eager to consume me. Crap. I really would have to fight the thing. All right. I braced myself and let the reflexes I didn't know I have kick in. I moved myself into ready position, gripped the golden hilt of my sword with one hand and drew it deliberately out of its sheath. The monster was so huge, so powerful. It seemed unlikely that I could take it down, not even with a sword in hand. But what choice did I have but to fight it anyway? I refused to die in this dark and cold place. I gripped my sword hilt more firmly and raised it in front of me. The monster pounced. But before it could make contact, I was able to quickly move out of its path, swinging my sword at the same time, making a bloody slice below its left eye. Seeing the gash in its face, however small, helped me gain confidence. My breathing steadied. My mind and vision got clearer. I felt strong. I thought I could do it. The monster roared. The cut drove it into a more berserk rage. I had to kill it, or it would never stop pursuing me. I crouched and waited for the monster to attack again. It did. I fought back. I dodged, slashed, rolled and stabbed every time it attacked, but the monster remained unfazed by the cuts I gave it. It was bleeding in so many places, it left wet spots on the ground. So was I. I was getting exhausted. I could feel myself slowing down. The sword grew heavier and heavier in my hands. I was also starting to really feel the pain from my wounds. I had to do something to end this sooner rather than later. I needed to end it, now. The monster attacked once more and I prepared my final blow, hoping to kill it at last. I turned away, ran for a couple steps, and turned. Using my sword like a giant throwing dagger, I aimed, breathed, then threw it at the beast. I shut my eyes tight for a moment, whispered a short prayer under my breath, then I blinked them open tentatively. I looked at my shaking hands first, and then I looked up. I expected to see the lifeless body of my foe, but there, staring at me, was the stupid monster cat, a new cut on its right ear. The sword was nowhere to be seen. I missed. Throwing swords only work in fiction apparently. So I failed. Now what? I met the monster's eyes and saw something there. Amusement? Triumph? Sympathy? I couldn't tell. We stayed frozen in place for another moment. And then the monster roared and charged. I did the only thing I could do right then. I turned to the opposite direction and ran. Weaponless and in pain, I ran. Trembling limbs and all. I ignored the darkness around me. I ignored my fear. I ignored the voices in my head telling me to surrender. I ignored the pointed stones puncturing the sole of my naked feet. I ignored everything. I ran and ran. Ran to keep myself alive. Ran to escape this nightmare. Ran to save myself. I ran and ran until my knees buckled and I fell on the ground. My body has given up. I couldn't stand, I couldn't move. Only my heart was still fighting, urging me to fight on. The ground rumbled as the beast approached. I could almost feel its claws and fangs ripping my flesh and bones into bloody pieces. The predator has finally caught its prey. I took a deep breath. I closed my eyes and waited for the pain to come. My end to come. Then, the blaring of my alarm jolted me awake. So it was just a dream. My heart throbbed still, as if I've truly fought a monster. Even the exhaustion and pain felt so real that I couldn't move right away. I let out a deep sigh. What a dream. A little bit on the scary side, yes. But thinking about it now, it was actually kind of fantastic.